Hi there, I'm Jay, escobarj.com, and this is intermittent fasting for beginners for weight loss. I've done 2 videos on this topic, so if you haven't watched those first 2 videos, go watch them now. I'll put them into the description to check those out first before you watch this one because they tie into each other. Okay, so today, last time we talked about exercising. What do you do after your exercise? You break your fast. Well, what do you break your fast with? That's what we're going to talk about today, choosing your foods wisely. Now, if your goal with intermittent fasting, if you're trying to lose weight, I highly recommend this little trifecta strategy that I use to lose 75 pounds in 8 months. Okay, and what that is combining the ketogenic diet, which is a low carb, low sugar, high fat, moderate protein diet, and combining that with intermittent fasting and intense exercise. Okay. And that right there is the secret. That is what helps. Well, that is what helped me lose 75 pounds in 8 months. And then I also, a few months after that 8 months, I put on 15 pounds of muscle. And obviously, if you're exercising and you're eating right and you're exercising every day, even if you're doing a lot of cardio, like a high intensity interval training type cardio, that's what I do, like Insanity, you're going to gain muscle. Plus I was, lifting weights at the gym before coronavirus happened. Now all the gyms are closed. But the key to it is your food. That is the key to all of that. You can do intermittent fasting and you can do, high intensity interval training, but if you're not eating the right things, it really doesn't matter. And that, I'm a prime example of that. A few years ago, back in like 2013, 2014, I was going to the gym every day with my buddies. We'd go to the gym at 6 o'clock every morning. I was working out very, very hard every single day. And I noticed my buddies were getting more fit than I was. And I didn't know what, and their diets actually weren't that great. They just had a better metabolism than I do. And I just wasn't seeing the type of results that I wanted. I still had a gut. I just wasn't defined, or I didn't have lines on my body, like, the lines on your arms, the lines on your back, the lines on your chest, the lines on your abs. I didn't have any of those lines. And I was still covered in fat. And it's because I was eating garbage foods. I was eating things that I thought were good, but really they were not. So you want to choose whole foods. You want to choose whole foods, high quality meats, unprocessed foods, foods with low sugar and low complex carbohydrates. You can get away with simple carbohydrates like rice or rice cakes or plantain chips, or there's some products you can buy like at Costco, like some cauliflower chips they're kind of carby, but they're cleaner than if you were to have like or even like a baked potato is better than if you have like complex carbs like fries, which are like, or battered fried foods and things that are deeply cooked in, vegetable oils and other bad oils. So essentially you want to stay away from all that junk food. And again, like I said before, even if you're using intermittent fasting plus exercising, you're still kind of negating all the hard work that you're putting if you're just constantly consuming junk food, processed foods, and sugar. And it's kind of like, if you were to think about it like this, if you were to run a marathon with no shoes on, right? I'm sure you could, if you really, really tried and you really put a lot of effort into it, you could do it for a small amount of time. Like you could maybe run a mile or 2 miles, or maybe even a few miles if you're pretty crazy, if you can just endure that pain. But if you're not wearing shoes for that marathon's still going to be difficult even with shoes on, right? But with shoes on, you're going to be able to make it that 26 miles if you've been training and continuously training for it. If you don't have any shoes on, you're running that marathon, you're going to see some results, right? You can maybe run a few miles with no shoes, but you're going to quit because your feet are going to be so blistered and tired, and they're going to hurt real bad. And you're going to end up mentally draining yourself before you see really the type of results before you even finish the race. it's kind of like that with working out and, you know, making sure you're eating proper nutrition and the proper foods whilst using intermittent fasting and exercising at the same time. You want to be doing all three of them. You want to be eating great quality foods, exercising at a high clip, and then also intermittent fasting. And those three things is I'm telling you, it's the key. So I want to leave you with a few things of healthy foods, that just to give you a few examples of things that you can be eating while you're exercising, while you're using intermittent fasting. Some things that I've personally used that I recommend that you can really, if you're exercising pretty hard and you're burning 300, 400, 500 calories a day, you know, most people's basal metabolic rate is going to be anywhere between 1,500 and 2,000 calories a day. And that's just if you're not exercising. If you're just flat, if you're just doing nothing, you're going to burn about that many calories every day just by being alive. So if you're burning 500 calories on top of that, I mean, you can pretty much eat most of these foods as much as you want of them to a certain degree. You can get full off of these foods and still lose the weight. I'm telling you, you don't have to. If you really want to take it to a new level, I mean, you can count your macros and count your calories, and that will really help you take things to a completely different level. But if you don't want to do that, you could literally get away with just eating a lot of these foods and a lot of them and feeling full with these foods and feeling content and still lose a lot of weight very, very quickly. So a few ideas are ground beef, steak, chicken, fish, or seafood, most seafood. Eggs are really good. Cheese in moderation. I absolutely love cheese, and I tend to put too much cheese, so I actually go off cheese. I'm off cheese right now. But if you can just do cheese in moderation, you can do that. Most vegetables, I mean, anything that's green, you know, peppers, spinach, lettuce, kale, zucchini, cauliflower, broccoli, you know, onions, you know, what else is that? I mean, pretty much any vegetables are going to be okay. The greener they are, the better they are for you. So I recommend green vegetables. Berries are really good for you. And even most fruits. I mean, you can do most fruits. If you're not going to do the keto diet, you can still lose a significant amount of weight just by eating whole foods and clean foods and just mixing in some fruit in there. On the keto diet, you don't typically want to have lots of fruit because there is a high amount of sugar, fructose to be specific, in fruit. Berries are a little better because they have antioxidants for you, and they're not quite as high in the fructose content. And there's some other benefits to berries. But if you're doing things like bananas and apples, it's typically, those can kick you out of ketosis pretty quickly if you're doing the keto diet. But if you're just eating whole food, like the Whole30 diet, you know, fruits are great too. You can have fruit, you know, oranges, apples, bananas. You can have some of those things too. I absolutely love those fruits, you know, mangoes, pineapples. I love those fruits. They're just higher in fructose and sugars and some carbohydrates as well. Some other things you can have are nuts. Most nuts, almonds, macadamia nuts, pecans, walnuts, sunflower seeds, fish oil, avocado oil, olive oil. You do want to stay away from, if you're doing the keto diet, you want to stay away from things like cashews and pistachios. They're typically higher in the carbohydrate content. If you're just doing Whole30, I mean, those are fine, obviously. But those are just a few examples of different types of foods that you can eat, and quite a lot of those foods too. I mean, I've got a big bag of Kirkland Signature macadamia nuts that I absolutely love. Macadamia nuts are like my favorite snack, especially the keto diet, because they keep me in ketosis. They're great for you. They have high omega-3s, and they're absolutely phenomenally delicious. I love macadamia nuts, you know, with a passion. And obviously with the background, you can see those are some pretty good fruit, you know, vegetables you can eat, minus the corn. Corn is not that great for you. It's very genetically modified. Corn, just stay away from corn. You can't even digest corn. If you look at your waist, your waist after you eat corn, you'll notice that the corn kernels typically are still in there. It's because your body can't digest them. So stay away from corn. A lot of sugar in corn as well, surprisingly, if you didn't know that. But those are just a few things you can have, you know, few good things that you can incorporate into your diet, lose a lot of weight with, and use intermittent fasting. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up if you did. If you'd like help on this topic, the fastest way to get a hold of me is through my website, escobarj.com, book a coaching session. You can also shoot me an email there. And do me a favor, subscribe and like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell icon so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And at the very least, share this on any social media platform with your friends and family on any social media. That's my goal, is to help as many people as I possibly can. If that can help you lose 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds, fantastic. That is my goal, my purpose. That being said, I hope you're always learning, always growing, and always pushing forward. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care.